यही ज्ञान और ज्ञान, यही ज्ञान और ज्ञान. Together let's all pray. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Tasmai Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Hari Om Shaanti 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 Hari Om. Boliye prem se bolo Shri Guru Bhagavan ki Jai Jai. Devotees all, it is with the greatest of respect and honor this morning that we join each and every one of you in your beautiful homes, at workplace, or wherever you are, coming live through the compliments of the internet. This morning we celebrate the 11th death anniversary of our Guruji, and it is with the greatest of honor and humility this morning that I join with my brother Pandit Dipak ji live from Minnesota, along with Michael, with our group here in New York, Kiran ji, my nephew, and my two chelas here, Kevin Beer and Kevin Prasad. It is our fervent hope this morning that you will allow us to enjoy and reminisce on the greatness of our dearest Guruji. Sit back and enjoy this beautiful program that we have put together to celebrate the life of this great soul. It is my honor to bring to the microphone our very own Pandit Dipak ji.
प्रेम से बोलो श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. प्रेम से गुरु महाराज की जय. To Pandit Manoj ji, to our dear Pandit Kevin ji, to Kevin ji and Kiran ji, and all of our wonderful viewers, listeners, let me also take this opportunity to say Jai Sitaram to each and every one of you, and welcome you as well to our satsang this morning in honor of the 11th year death anniversary or passing of Guruji. Right away, permit me to say thank you to Pandit Manoj ji for allowing me this opportunity to join with him in such a program. I'm very excited for this program today, and very honored and blessed to have these wonderful young men join us in our program today. We will continue the ceremony today by performing our opening Havan Yagya. Of course, Pandit ji will be performing the pujas, and with honor and respect and unity, of course, we will be chanting from our. So, we will chant. First of all, we'll ask Manoj to take his water and we'll wash hands. Om Hasta Prakshalanam Samarpayami Shri Govindayebhyo Namo Namaha Atah Achmanah Om Amrito Pastarnamasi Swaha Om Amrita Pithanamasi Swaha Om Satyanyasha Shrirmai Shri Shrayatam Swaha Hasta Prakshalanam Samarpayami Govindayebhyo Namo Namaha Om Atah Angasparsha, touching of the beard, lips. Om Bhang me Asti Astu Om Nasur me Prano Astu Om Akshno me Chakshurastu Om Karnyor me Srotram Om Bahavor me Balamastu Om Purvor ma Ojo Astu Om Arishnani me Andani Tanustama me Saha Santu बोलिए सच्चिदानंद भगवान की जय। अग्नि भगवान पूजनम। ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः द्यौरिवा भूमना पृथ्वी वा वरुणा तस्यास्ते पृथिवी देवयज्ञे पृष्ठे अग्निर्मनाजमना ध्यायादते श्री अग्निदेवायेभ्यो नमो नमः। ओम उद्बुद्ध्या स्व अग्नि प्रतिजागृही प्रविष्टा भूते संसृजेतामयं च अस्मिन् सदस्ते अधूतरस्मिन् विश्वदेवा यजमानश्च सीदता। प्रेम से शिव भगवान की जय। Now, devotees, we just want to enlighten all of you that our puja ceremonies, including the Bhavan, they're very, very simple this morning. And we want to make everything as simple as possible. This was one of the themes of Guruji in his lifetime. He did not want us to make things too complicated. He enjoyed simplicity. So we'll just be offering some ghee this morning, especially due to our time factor. We are so thankful for these wonderful young men, including our two pundits, to be there and to help us in this system as well physically. So offering ghee into the fire with the mantras beginning Suryo Jyoti. Om Suryo Jyoti, Jyoti Surya Swaha. Om Suryo Varcho, Jyotir Varcha Swaha. Om Jyoti Surya, Suryo Jyoti Swaha. Om Sajuradeveena Savitra, Saturusha Sendra Tushana Suryo Vetu Swaha. Om Agnir Jyotir, Jyotiragani Swaha. Om Agnir Varcho, Jyotir Varcha Swaha. Om Agnir Jyotir, Jyotiragani Swaha. Om Sajuradeveena Savitra, Sarjuratrendra Vatya, Tushana Nirvetu Swaha. Om Bhuraganaye Pranaya Swaha. Idamaganaye Pranaya Idam Namama. Om Bhurvaye Pranaya Swaha. Idam Vaye Pranaya Idam Namama. Om Swaradityaya Dhyanaya Swaha. Idamadityaya Dhyanaya Namah. Om Apojyotiraso Amritam Brahma Bhurbhuva Swaro Swaha. Mahagayatri Mantra. Om Bhurbhuvasva Tatsavidurvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवः स्वाहा ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवः स्वः स्वाहा ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम् भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवः स्वः स्वाहा ॐ सर्वेभ्यो देवेभ्यो नमः स्वाहा ॐ सर्वेभ्यो देवीभ्यो नमः स्वाहा पूर्णाहुति ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ सर्वं वै पूर्णागं स्वाहा ॐ सर्वं वै पूर्णागं स्वाहा ॐ सर्वं वै पूर्णागं स्वाहा नमः शम्भवाय च मयोभवाय च नमः शङ्कराय च मयस्कराय च नमः शिवाय च शिवतराय च ॐ नमः शिवाय ब्रह्मा परं ब्रह्मावि ब्रह्मग्नो ब्रह्मणाहुतं ब्रह्मणेन तेन गन्ताव्य ब्रह्मात् कर्मः समाधिन ॐ तत्सत् हरिः ॐ तत्सत् हरिः ॐ तत्सत् सर्वपापहरं दिव्यं गाङ्गेयं निर्मलं जलम् आचमन्यं त्वया दत्तं गृहाणं परमेश्वरम् ॐ शान्ति 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 हरिः ॐ प्रेम स्वागिनी भगवान की. So let me, on behalf of myself and Manoj ji and these wonderful musicians, Kevin ji, Kiran ji, my very own Chela, Michael ji, and of course, is Mayaji is seated with us here as well, dear Nadiyaji. She doesn't want to come into the picture, but I want to let you guys know that she's sitting here and she's always supporting Sanatana Dharma. Such a wonderful young man to have been given the opportunity to represent his Dharma and to even go further in the light of Dharma. This truly, it utters and ushers in the messages and life of Guruji as he walked upon this earth to promote the upbringing of the youths of our lives in the right manner, in a simplistic manner. So I think that is the very theme of today's Such Timely Events. Let me welcome each and every one of you again, and let me ask you, if you haven't done so yet, please hit the little share button on the bottom of your video and allow others to come on and enjoy the program today, because I don't think anyone should miss this program today. Permit me to again say welcome to each and every one of you. This program represents our heart's love in honor and memory of our dear Guruji, Shree Prakash Gossai, who was a wonderful son of Hat Country in Guyana, and he was a wonderful son of Sanatana Dharma. A reviver of Dharma, I think, is one of the greatest titles one can ever confer for. Because I remember very clearly when there was a time when Dharma did not mean much, when religion did not mean much, that master came and he showed us the meaning of such things, especially music and how to fall in love with God in your own individual ways. And we're so thankful this morning that we're able to join each other. And this is why I feel our puja this morning must not only include the Bhavan ceremony, but it should also include a small puja to our dear Guruji. He is God to us. We cannot mince words. Guruji is nothing less than God. Although he considered himself to be just a simple devotee of God, performing Ram Kaj, for people who knew him very well and who surrendered to his knowledge and his light, take him to be the highest. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. So we'll ask our dear devotees, like Manoj and his wonderful chelas, to help us in performing a small puja to our Guruji. We will begin with a mantra to the great masters of the world. We will wash the feet of the Guru. Om Matah Padhyam Pushnodakam Nirmalam Cha Sarvato Gandha Sanyuktam Pad Prakshavanarthaya Daktam Te Pratikrihyata Harja Chandanam Divyam Gandhadyo Sumanoharam Videpanam Surashrestha Chandanam Pratigriyatam Chandanam Samarpayami Shri Guru Devatayo Namo Namaha. We'll offer a bhajan to the wonderful devotee of Guruji. Om Malakadi Sugandhini Marityadini Vai Prabhu Maya Hitani Pujatam Pushpani Pratigriyatam Pushpamala Samarpayami Shri Gurudevatayo Namo Namaha. Aarti. Om Sajayam Chavarti Sanyuktam Vahaninayo Chitam Maya Dipam Grihana Devecha Trilokyadvinapaham Guru Kripahi Kevalama Guru Kripahi Kevala Guru Kripahi Kevala. Hari Om Shaanti 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 Hari Om. Achman Samarpayami Shri Gurudevatayo Namo Namaha. Prem to Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. I'd like to thank Manoj for allowing us and affording us the opportunity to enjoy this sight of him performing puja, not only Havan, but puja to our dear Guruji. And I would like to now take this great honor in handing the microphone back over to Manoj. But before I ask him to say his next remarks, Prabhu, you know, I want to say we have developed such relationships with people in our lives. Many of them are seated right next to you. I think one of the most important relationships you and I have or ever had physically and still have in our heart is that with our dear Guruji. And many of us were thrown into such shock in our lives. 11 years ago, come tomorrow, when the news of the Master leaving the world came to our ears, many of us felt like he deserted us. Many of us felt like we were deserted and left alone. And I remember people saying, Guruji, how can you do this to us and leave us alone? But that Master had some beautiful messages for us about coming alone and going alone in this world. And I want you to enlighten us on that, please, Guru. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pandit Dipak ji. And indeed, it has been a very emotional morning for me waking up and coming to the studio, our little studio here, this morning to do this presentation and dedicate ourselves this morning to the wonderful Mahatma who left us 11 years ago. And I must say that, as I mentioned last week in our satsang, that although the birthday is very unique, it's the day when we come into the world, but none of us knows what that child is coming with or coming for, the purpose of that child. But indeed, when that person makes an impact and touches your inner core, and when that person leaves you, you know what you have lost. And this morning, I want to say on behalf of myself, on behalf of my family, Ravina ji, my wife, who also spent some priceless moments with Guruji. I'm sure this morning she's probably crying her eyes out because she used to enjoy her morning drives with him to the Mandir. This morning we celebrate the life of this great one. And like all of you who are logging in this morning, I'm sure Guruji touched your lives in somewhere or the other. Like every great songster or musician, there is a particular CD or a cassette or 8 tracks or whatever you call these things that puts you on the charts and makes you popular, more popular than you already are. One, Aaye bhi akela, Jaaye bhi akela, Do din ki zindagi hai, Do din ka mela. Jaaye bhi akela, Do din ki zindagi hai, Do din ka mela. Do din ki zindagi hai, Do din ka mela. करम कर दुनिया से डरना।
काहे को चुराया जग में क्या तुझको करना, नेकी करम कर दुनिया से धरना।
पापों की अगन में खुद को काहे को धकेला।
दो दिन की जिंदगी दो दिन का मेला।
Everybody, आए भी अकेला जाए भी अकेला। दो दिन की जिंदगी है दो दिन का मेला।
ये अकेला भाई भी अकेला, दो दिन की जिंदगी दो दिन का मेला।
दो दिन की जिंदगी है
दो दिन का मेला।
दो दिन की जिंदगी है।
दो दिन का मेला।
And indeed, so we come into this world, a day will come when we will have to take our exits. But today, tomorrow is not promised to no man. Enjoy every moment you get and do not take life, the words of Guruji, do not take any part of life for granted. Guruji loved Gita. He loved the Gita. Although he was a lover of Ramayana, he was or is the best. I will say that without any kind of hesitation, the best in Ramayana chanting and the explanation of these beautiful verses. And Guruji was the champion for that. And then he started to incorporate the Gita with him. Is that Naliji in the background? Sitaram Naliji? We barely see your face. Can you come in a little bit more so we can see you, everybody? See? These were the ladies also in Minnesota when Guruji would travel there. They would be with him at the Mandirs in Minnesota. So it's an honor to have you this morning. One of the most prized shlok from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. I will ask Pandit Dipak ji to tell us what that shlok is. And Guruji spent all his yachanas, and those of you who are watching would know exactly which verse I speak of.
Wow. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. You know, I remember that we had to sit next to him for so many days as he tried to teach us the Bhagavad Gita. He would teach the Ramayana in the Yajna setting, but the Gita verses, he took time at home during the day when we didn't have to go anywhere to teach. Vitumatu Swami Sakha Hamare, Vitumatu Swami Sakha Hamare, Nath Narayan Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, Nath Narayan Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Vitumatu Swami Sakha Hamare, Shri Narayan Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govinda. Yajna Tapah Karma Natyajam Kayamevata Anavayajnodanam Tapascheva Pavanami Manisham Yajnadana Tapaskarma Natyajam Kayamevata Yajnodana Tapascheva Pavanami Manisham Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari. Not only did he propagate the importance of religion, of spirituality, and religious acts, he also propagated them through the most simplistic ways and showed us how to do so in the most simple of manner. Yajna, dan, tapat, yajna, to perform sacrifices of great importance, one like we are doing today, dan, charity, tapat, austerity. He says here, Lord Krishna, in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, that these should not be forsaken or abandoned. Yajna, sacrifices, charity, austerity, they should not be abandoned. In clear-cut words, should not be abandoned. And I think this was one of the reasons why Guruji loved this verse, because he noticed that people were abandoning these things. So he brought the words of the Lord out for all of us to be reminded that the Lord himself is saying, do not abandon these sacrifices, yajna, positive sacrifices for the betterment of humanity and society, done to give charity in whatever form, and austerity to ensure the spiritual growth of the self, the individual self. But very importantly, like in Bhagavad Gita 9:26, one of his other verses, he used to remind us, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Even if you have a leaf, the Lord didn't even specify which leaf. Even if you have a leaf, or water, or flower, that is all that is necessary as long as great love is in the heart. That alone is enough to qualify your prayers, actual prayers that to be felt by the Lord himself. And I really, really admire this. And I think also, on that note, Noji, you know, we have some nice names for each other. On that note, we remember the days when, even today still, you and I are trampled upon by many, because we probably don't have the proper last name, you know, as some people would want, and some people would profess to be the highest of names in the world. A society that will have to succeed must be all-inclusive. No color of the skin, no caste, no creed, nothing of this sort must matter. I feel, Padre Manoj, that we live in a society today still where we face certain segregation. And I think I would like to ask you this morning to just talk a little bit about this segregation from the eyes of our Guruji, please. Thank you so much.
Wow, beautifully said, Panditji. And you know, we talk about segregation from going back to generations and generations ago, where we would segregate caste and creed, and this religion is better than your religion, my culture is better than yours. But if there's anything Guruji taught us, he brought us the beautiful story of Ma Shevali, a lady who had nothing, who was described as being nothing. She called herself low. I'm the lowest of all, showing humility. But Guruji said, the words of Rama, in my eyes, Siya Ram mein sab jag jani. I see everyone equally. Devotees all, I'm sure you would know this Chaupai from Ramcharitramanas. You would know this scene. Picture Guruji sitting on the Singhasan, and we're all sitting at his feet and listening to this man, just nectar flowing from his mouth. And the nectar comes to us in these words. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Shri Ram Jai Ram literal translation. And I want all of us to listen to these words very carefully. And it comes a time in our lives where we have to put a stop, a full stop to desegregation. Because if Ram talked about bridges, building bridges, why then, oh man, are we building barriers? He says, Jati pati kul dharma badai, dhan bal parijan gun chaturai, bhagati heen nar sohe kaisa, bidu jal varid dekhiye jaisa. He says, despite caste, kingship, lineage, piety, reputation, wealth, power, connections, accomplishments, and the abilities that we have or we claim to have, Bhagavan says to Ma Shivani, Oma bhagatihin nar, without devotion, you're like a cloud in the sky. And what is the purpose of a cloud? Is to give shelter, is to give rain. No? He says, if you're a cloud in the sky without any water in it, so too you're described as man on earth. That without devotion, you are useless. Simple words of our Guruji. And many times, Guruji would go to different mandirs and he would go to read yagyas. But because of his caste, quote unquote, because of who he was not permitted to sit on the highest of the Singhasan. But Guruji says, you know what? I will sit on the floor. Because Kag Bhushundi came down from his throne and sat at the floor, at the feet of Guruji to discourse the words of Rama. And so too Guruji lived his life, that wherever he went, he put all these things aside. And he said to himself that humility is what will win the blessings and grace of God. So Panditji, indeed, it has been such an honor to listen to these words of Guruji. And no matter what people will say or what they may do, my advice to you, as the youngest one out of the two of us, is let's continue to move and move on without any kind of hesitation. Remember, God blessed each and every one of us for a particular purpose. And what God has blessed you with, let no man curse or let no man speak against. One of the things Guruji talked about is offering yourself to God. Do you have anything that talks about that? Offering yourself to God, Prabhu?
Yeah, man, but here, out of the two of these, you look more young than me. You're the only punishment on our age. And while I might look nice up here, the belly keeps growing, you know. But that's why I feel like I want to offer myself to God, because I think He will accept me no matter how big my tummy is, or how I look, or how I sound, or what I have done at all. I realize that of all the ingredients we can offer to God, if we offer ourselves to God, that is the best. And indeed, your words are so truthful, bro. You have given such sound advice. We don't want to be just dust floating up there in the air. We want to have purpose. And today, our purpose leads us to the feet of the Lord. This, I think, is one of the bhajans that brought us closer to our altars, to our motis, through the help of our Guru. Jane चढ़ाए फूल तुझे मैं खुद को चढ़ाने आया हूँ. Oh Lord, while the entire world has brought flowers to offer your lotus light, and I commend that, I realize that I have nothing to offer to you but my very self. And I'm confident that साईं तुम्हारे द्वारे पे मैं सभी लुटाने आया हूँ. I've left this entire world behind me. And O Sai, O merciful Master, this denotes the mercy of God. Hence the use of the word Sai. O Lord, ignore all my faults and limitations. Ignore everything else and accept me in my purest and truest form. This is our prayer. यानी चढ़ाए फूल तुझे मैं खुद को चढ़ाने आया हूँ. हे साईं तुम्हारे द्वारे पे लुटाने आया हूँ. यानी चढ़ाए फूल तुझे मैं खुद को चढ़ाने आया हूँ. चाहे तो ठुकरा दे मुझे अपने द्वारे से हटा दे मुझे. ओ राम श्री राम जय राम जय राम. तू चाहे तो ठुकरा दे मुझे अपने द्वारे से हटा दे मुझे. साईं नाम की जलती धूनी में, साईं नाम की जलती धूनी में अभिमान जलाने आया. दुनिया ने चढ़ाए फूल तुझे मैं खुद को चढ़ाने आया हूँ. मैं खुद को चढ़ाने आया हूँ. मैं खुद को चढ़ाने आया हूँ.
Wow. I must say before I continue, Michael, wow, hats off. If you look at Michael there playing in the background, he's a wonderful student of the late Dex, and it's whatever's happening here today is God's work. All of this is God's work, because if there was one person close to Guruji when it comes to music and friendship and all these things, was Dexter. And I'm so happy that Michael is there with you today, Prabhu. And Nali ji sitting in the background. But you know what, Nal? We want to hear your voice a little bit more. So I'm going to ask Deep to kindly raise up your mic a little bit so we can hear you. I got some messages said, the people like to see you, but they want to hear you too. So. It's an honor to be doing this morning for our Guruji. And to all the pundits and the supporters of Guruji, I want to say this morning that it's indeed an honor, it has been an honor to live or try to live the legacy of our Guruji through his teachings and his values. So this morning I want to say a very, very special Sitaram to the entire Gossai family. And there's a reason I want to do so, because Guruji came from somewhere, and he came from a beautiful family. And we cannot forget his entire family, all his siblings, mom, dad, his mom and dad. Ajabai, we would call him, still alive and going. Ajabai, I do hope and pray that God will give you the health you need to continue to live on. Aji, of course, passed on. And all the family members of Guruji, but most important, to his wonderful children, to Pratikshaji and to Acharya Arunji. We do hope and pray that you will understand that we are all with you all to celebrate the life of this great man. He believed from the oldest to the youngest, to all, we all have a purpose. To the children, today it is an honor to sit with these young ones here to celebrate this special day, because Guruji lived his life dedicating time to our youth. He spent time, he wanted to bring these things simple as possible, so that the smallest of child could understand. Isn't that so? From the Bhavan to the kathas to the songs, everything. He wanted everyone to know. Our message this morning to our children: you all have bright futures ahead of you. And you are the instrument. You are the instrument that will determine how bright your future will be. And do not let anything, anyone, any circumstance stand in your way from achieving the highest of goals. Self-realization, achieving your path, achieving your place of employment in the form of your career. Don't let anyone stand in your way. कदम नौजवान तू बढ़ाता चला जा, बढ़ाता चला जा, तू राह अपनी बनाता चला जा। कदम नौजवान बढ़ाता चला जा, बढ़ाता चला जा, तू राह अपनी बनाता चला जा, तू राह अपनी चला जा। not get involved in any negativities of the world. Leave that alone. You are much more higher than that. You're a better person than that. To get involved in all kind of nindas and talking ill about other people and so forth. He says if you want to talk evil about anyone, look in the mirror and speak a story about the person you're looking at. Don't point fingers, but do positive things and leave a positive mark in the world. नौजवान साथियों, निंदा मत करो, मिल आपस में रहो और पूजा सदा करो। मिल आपस में रहो और पूजा सदा करो। सदा कर डंका बढ़ाता चला जा, बढ़ाता चला जा, पूरा अपनी बनाता चला। Everyone sing. नौजवान तू बढ़ाता चला जा, बढ़ाता चला जा, पूरा अपनी बनाता चला। पूरा अपनी बनाता चला जा, पूरा अपनी बनाता चला जा। मिला आपस में रहो और पूजा सदा करो. Rather than doing something negative like ninda karo, then he says, or puja sada karo. He says, do something positive, something beneficial, something that can bring great upliftment to your life and those around you. So this is the message of our Guruji to our youth this morning. Continue to strive for greater things. Continue to be who you are and do not change who you are. Or I always tell the children at Mandir, don't lose who you are trying to find who you are, if that makes sense. Understand that we are unique, we are special, and we are divine souls. We are children of God. How can man speak ill of God's creation? Do good, be good, and always stay good in the world. I hand you over back now to our dear Panditji, devotees once again. Thank you for logging on this morning, and we do hope, as Panditji said, just touch that share button. Doesn't take a lot of energy. Just touch it, share with as many as you can, and let's all celebrate the life of our dear Guruji. Jai Ho.
If I can put it that way, that we can work together to achieve. Now, Prabhu, you left off a couple of weeks ago on Ramayana Katha.
Still hear me? Massive? Are we good? Yeah? Okay. So last time Panditji spoke to us, he told us that he's going to continue, together with myself, Ramayana Katha, the conversation between Garud and Kagh Bhushundi. And that conversation involves one who is a king, Garud, and one who is a servant, Kagh Bhushundi. Panditji, when he expounded on Ram's Katha the last time, he expounded on all the questions of Garud. He expounded on the approach that a king took at the doorsteps of the servant, of the devotee. Kagh Bhushundi is considered in the world of birds to be the lowliest of birds, and Garud is considered to be the highest, the king of birds. So, the approach of the king to the devotee, to the servant, was one of humility, and he asked 7 questions. Now, these 7 questions we're going to answer today, and we're going to try our best. Just want to put all of you on notice that we're not going to dive very deep into these verses. Rather, we're going to try our best to ask the question in a simple term, and then the other person will give the appropriate verse in answering the questions. So, Prabhu, why don't we do this? I'm feeling like I should ask the first question, and you should give the answer to that first question, because we live in a world that is filled with so much disrespect and disregard for life today. We see so many different forms of life all around us. We see people desecrating each other's lives. We wonder, how is it that a person cannot have value on another person's life, on other people's life, and so easily anger and all these different things drive us to not have respect for other people's life. And I feel part of that, a big part of that, is that we don't even respect our own lives. And if we have no respect for our own lives, how can we show any respect for other lives? And I want to have this enlightenment from our dear Pandit Manoj ji this morning. He asked the question the last time we met. And the question was, which form is the most difficult to obtain? And that simply means, of all the forms that life has taken in this world, of all of them, not which is the strongest, not which one can fly better than which one, not which one can eat more plenty than which one. No, which one is the most difficult to obtain. And that word difficult will denote some sort of importance. It is difficult because it carries grave importance with it. So what form, Pandit Manoj ji, is the most difficult form of all the forms of creation in God's garden, is the most difficult to obtain?
Thank you so much, Panditji. It looks like you and Boswan Gyaf this morning with me, or devotees all. Before we continue with the Katha, as we promised last week that we're going to continue this beautiful scene this morning, I just want to say that this morning we have some special sponsorship. Firstly, from Mataji Ivy Narayan, coming from Canada, also known as Madhuri Narayan. I'm told that she was the first person to take Guruji to Essequibo, Golden Fleece, to do yajna. So I want to say to Mataji Ivy, thank you this morning for sponsoring from Canada. So those devotees in Canada, when it's time for Prasadam and Bhojan, please make sure you know where she lives. And also here in New York from our sisters, Malaji and Neela, celebrating their birthday. They're also sponsoring today's program. So find out where they live in Queens and Bronx, and make sure you go and get something to eat today. So Guruji asked the question, and we're going to look at these beautiful answers. This was a discourse that Guruji brought to all of us as well. So Guruji says, what is the highest form or the most difficult to attain? How does Kagh Bhushundi answers this question? And I want to go back to the days of Brooklyn, Irving Street and Green, Irving Avenue and Green, where Guruji would sit on the asan and Pandit Mahindra Dubey would sit on the ground where he would be doing the pujas, and they would go back and forth with each other. And one of those tunes that I remember so beautifully, you felt as though you were doing something wrong. You know, if you played dholak or dantal or whatever it was, and he put his hand up like this, you jump. You know, so Guruji he had this way of doing his presentation, and I'm sure many of us today, as we're reflecting on his life and reflecting on some of these choice verses, would remember him. Just picture him sitting on that Singhasan. Kagbushundi, he looks at Guruji and he thinks very carefully, how am I going to answer this question? What is the highest form to achieve? But there he goes and he says, out of 8,400,000 creations, Kagbushundi says, O Guruji, naratan sam nahi kavane hudihi. He says, no form is greater than the form of the human man, the human being. Naratan, the form, this human form that we have is such a divine, unique form that jivachar achar jatataji, that so many other creatures pray for this kind of form. And now that we have gotten it, the question is, what are we going to do with such a body? I remember one great saint said that the human man lives as the animal, and the animal lives as the human. And then you question, why would he say something like that? But as you mentioned earlier, when you look at the behavior of our people in today's world, we have lost sight of how beautiful and unique and special we all are. Narga, Swarga, Apabarga Nisheni. Goswami Tulsidas says the words of Kagbushundi, you can utilize this being to to go downwards, to desecrate yourself, or you can rise upwards. And he says man must use his body. There's a word there, nisheni. The word nisheni means a ladder. And you can only go two directions on this ladder. You can't go sideways or else you'll fall off. You can either go upwards or you can go downwards. But he says also, philosophy of Tulsi, be careful because your foot can also pass through the hole. So be careful, pay attention to that ladder. Watch every step that you're taking. He says go downwards in life or you can go upwards. Jnana, virag, bhakti, subhadini. Utilize his being and understand that God has given his body to us to gain liberation, to establish a relationship with him, and most important, to create that form of devotion and love, unconditional love for thyself. And by when you love yourself, only then you can love humanity and you can love God. So devotees, the greatest form is the human form. There is no other form greater than this. Other forms are unique and special, but the highest, he says, is the human form. Now he asks two more very important questions. The second question Garuji asked, and he says, Gurudev, I want you to tell me, what is the greatest pain that one can endure in life? And what is the highest form of pleasure that one can enjoy? Now it is my honor to ask Pandit Dipakji, or Guruji used to call you. What Guruji used to call you? Tell everybody what Guruji used to call you.
Tiny.
I'll ask Panditji to answer question number 2 and number 3. Remember, what is the highest, greatest pain, and what is the highest form of pleasure that one can enjoy? Prabhu?
Shri Ram Jai Ram, Jai Jai Rama. 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 Jaya Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama. Nahi daritr sam, dukh jag mahi, संत मिलन सम सुख जग नाही. श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम. श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम. ओ पर उपकार वचन मन काया, पर उपकार वचन मन काया, संत सहज स्वभाव ठग राया. श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम. श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम. श्री राम जय राम, जय जय राम. प्रेम से बोलो श्री सीताराम चंद्र भगवान की जय. Now, having the most difficult form to obtain can seem like a matter of pride to you and I. Well, here now, you get 8,400,000 species of forms. Manoj has paraphrased our scriptures, indeed, according to our scriptures. And of all of these forms, I think he would agree with me that I think the human beings hold a special place. I wouldn't want to say they're the highest of beings. I don't like to use that phrase because it is not in our nature, I think, or in our own capacities as people of Dharma to try and say one form is better than the next. And this is why I think the word difficult is used and not best. So he has told us here that the most difficult form to attain can lead us to hell or heaven. And the greatest misery or the highest pleasure is as of a result of how we climb that same ladder Panditji is talking about. The ladder of the human body, this form of life that we are given. If the foot falls through the hole, misery and pain, because, if the ladder is not too strong, Panditji, your foot bound to fall through the hole, right? And then what will happen? We will end up with more difficulties than we want. Nahi daridra sam dukh jag mahi. There is no misery in this world, says Kagh Bhushundi, who is here the Guru, although he is the lowliest of birds in the eyes of the realm of birds, seated on his asan before his king. The king listens attentively that what? The greatest form of misery in this world is poverty. Nahi daridra. Daridra means poverty. And I admire these words greatly, Panditji, because look at the world in which we live. We have this human form, we have this human being, and we are so proud of it sometimes. Yet we allow other people and each other to remain or fall in a realm of poverty, in a state of poverty, when we can do better, those of us who can. And that is why I admire the verse from before. Yagya dan. Dan, to give charity, no matter what it is you can give, how much little you can give. Provide to the world. Because poverty is truly, truly a thing that brings unhappiness. And let me tell you, I know many of you can relate to this. Seeing someone who lives in really and truly a state that is considered to be poor. Some people don't like that word, but I appreciate the magnificence of this word because it amplifies the pain that surrounds the life of people who live in poorness, in poverty. I think this is the literal sense of the phrase here. People who don't have shoes to wear, and they still live in the world. People who don't have homes to live in our beautiful, brilliant country. Go and Google right now to Google Deota, see how many folks live in poverty and sleep under a bridge. Or they have to find a shelter that is not their own, or that they haven't been able to own and sit in and call their own home, or a rented place. They have to have the help of others to live. And yet you and I feel like our work is not done. So having this body is one thing. But now we have to ensure that we utilize this most difficult form. And why is it more difficult? Because it can allow us to climb up or down, like Panditji says. And we have to be careful to help those on the way as well. At this point, poverty can also refer to, and I love this because Guruji is the one who brought this out. He says here, poverty can denote as well a lack of love in a person. A lack of love, poverty of compassion, poverty of love, poverty of mercy. We are so hardened sometimes that we don't even want to think twice about offering our love and our mercy and our grace on other people. When the Lord can be so merciful, why can't you and I in our everyday lives? Of course, samta milan sam sukha jag nahi. I love this one dearly because the greatest source of happiness in this world is said here to be the communion with the saintly people. Santa. Santa means saint. He says here, there is no blessing that is equal to the communion with saints. And of course, we can take days and days to dive into the meaning of the word Santa. But we don't have that time today. In simple words, Santa, a saintly person is one who knows and feels and understands the pain of others. They don't even have to have you in their lives, but they know and they understand. They feel the presence of God all the time. They see it and feel it in other people and other things around them. And their cause is to try and I don't remember the words. I think Manoj might have to bring in something here now to tell me, because if Kagbushunди here now, brother, is telling us that here what happened, there is no happiness like that of meeting saintly people. I love the questions that come next. I want to even refer to Lankini. Prabhu, you remember that katha? Hanumanji's journey to Lanka. When he got there, he was desecrated in words by Lankini, calling him a thief, calling him a fool, telling him she's going to devour him. And when she realized the type of saint he was, instantly she changed her words and she said to him that Tat Swarga Apvarga Sukh Dhariya Tula Ik Ang Tulanata Hi Sakala Mili Jo Sukh Lav Satsang. That if you had a scale and you put all the happiness that one achieves by being in the company of saintly people, which is called satsang, on one end of the scale, and on the other end of the scale, you put all other happiness on that, the side with the happiness of saintly communionship outweighs everything else. This is Lankini speaking to Hanumanji. So I think it is important, Prabhu, for you to tell us now, since this beautiful master is talking about saints, then what are the innate qualities, or what is the innate disposition of not just the saintly people, but also those who are the opposite of saintly? And here Tulsidas Ji, as you very well know, uses the terminology evil-minded. And I love that terminology because you and I can fit definitely in that from time and time again as we live in this world, and we can rotate from all of these. So I want to know, man, I really want you to tell me, every time people are telling me, do good, be good, don't be bad. So how do I know when I am good? How do I know when I am bad? What are the innate dispositions or qualities of the saintly and the evil-minded? Over to you, Panit.
Wow, kya baat Pani ji. Here baat se me want here man. So me go tell you man. Devotees, once again, how are you guys doing today? It's a pleasure to be with all of you in this morning satsang, coming to you in your home, wherever you are, if you're at work. We do hope that you're enjoying our little presentation here this morning. We're just rehashing some moments that we all spent with Guruji. His songs, his verses from Ramayana, from Gita, also some of his jokes he used to tell us. And one of those stories, one of those jokes comes in this katha as well. So this chap is asking me, what are the characteristics between good and bad? Let's see what Tulsi says.
Ram
Guruji looks at Kagbushundi and says, Gurudev, I want you to tell me what are the characteristics between good and bad people. So that alone tells that in this world in which we live, we have positive and we have negative. And believe you me, the car cannot run if you can't just hook up the positive side of the battery. Isn't it so? The car will not start. So you need the negative part of it as well. So both of these, we have to have a balance. What you said, Panishi? The one will capsize, no? So we have to have a balance. And inside all of us, we all have good qualities and we have bad qualities. Who is a good man? Who is a good person? Sant sahahi dukh parhit lagi. Goswami Tulsidashi says, the good person feels the pain of another person. Now look at those words. You're telling me, now if you're crying and I start to cry with you, Tulsidashi is saying here, if you can establish those qualities within yourself, then you're considered a sant, a saintly person. Guruji always used to say that a saint don't mean a man walking with a yellow shawl. No? Down the road and chanting all day Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. A saintly person is such a person who feels, who experiences, who endures the pain of others. That whatever you're going through difficulty in your life, the saintly person feels such pain. Now what are the qualities of a good person? He says the evil-minded person, the wicked person, the not so good person, rather than feeling your pain and experiencing your pain, what does this chap do? This person gives you pain. Now the good person feels your pain and the bad person is the one who gives you pain. Now Tulsidashi is saying here, which side, what kind of balance are we going to have between these two qualities? Remember the gunas. Guruji says destroy tamasic. He says you must have a balance between rajasic. You must be able to tolerate it a little, but aim for sattvic qualities. This was his philosophy. He says we must destroy these difficult, don't give people trouble. We already have enough trouble in the world today for somebody to give you additional stories, additional worries. No? And this brings me to one of Guruji's gaff. He says he was reading on the asan. No? This is how people are in the world today. He was reading on the asan. And you know Guruji always had a way of doing this. He would lift his hand or sometimes he would lift both hands. And Manoj is sitting on the ground. And he lifts his hand like this. And all of you know where I'm going with this story. And there was a little hole in his kurta. Little hole, little minute hole. But this chap named Manoj see this. Deeps na come from, I check my kurta to make sure I get a hole. Deeps na come from Guyana yet. So me now, call Deep in Guyana, Crabbo Creek. And I said, partner, let me tell you, this man, Guruji Bhai, you should have seen this man go Mandir with a big hole in the kurta. Not a minute hole anymore, eh? One big hole. He got a big hole in the kurta and he got a icy hand and I'll show everybody. Now what Deeps do? Deeps decide now for call Nali in Minnesota. And say, Nali girl, what kind of man are you bringing Minnesota for reading? Here go court, here go Mandir without shot. So you see what happens? We cut this story a little short. From a little minute hole, it becomes a big hole. And now Guruji go Mandir without shot, without kurta. So what we do is this is what we're doing in today's world, in the society in which we live. I always tell devotees, tell people the story of what you have seen, not what you have heard. Think of that very carefully, because today you hear something, you now add your own story to that, and you start to share that with the world, and you have fabricated the story so much. You have added garam masala to the story, you have added kauri powder to the story till the curry spiraled. So tell this story that you have seen. If you haven't seen something, do not speak of something that you only heard of. Goswami Tulsidas says, be like the saintly person. When you see somebody suffering, if you see Guruji with a hole in the kurta, go and buy you a new one. Rather than tell people, you go Mandir without kurta. No? So feel their pain, feel what they're going through, try to experience what they're going through, and try to be there for them in their moments of need. And he says, don't be like the asant. Pare dukh hetu asant abhagi. Do not be like that person who only adds to the pain of others. So says the great Kag Bhujundi. He moves on and he looks at Garudji, and Garudji was asking. Garudji says, question number 5. He says, I want you to tell me the highest religious merit that one can experience in the world. And question number 6. What is the most deadly of sins? So question number 5 and question number 6. He says, what is the highest religious merit and what is the most deadly of sin? Pari, can I hear from you?
You see, because he is older, he's taking advantage of me. Me only ask you one question, and this chapter give me two questions. Because that one he answered just now was just number 4. And now he's asking me again, 5 and 6. Well, Debikola. Now, I really admire your words, Prabhu. Truly and really, really wonderful. And I remember the first time Guruji told us that wonderful joke about the hole in the kurta. Man, nobody up to now still didn't buy here brand new kurta. In fact, he has given to us more kurtas than you can imagine. What is the highest religious merit? According to the Vedas, and this is important here, according to the scriptures, according to the Vedas, what is the highest religious merit and what is the most terrible sin? संत उदय संतत सुखकारी संत उदय संतत सुखकारी विश्व सुखद जिमि हिंदु तमारी श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम परम धर्म श्रुति विदित अहिंसा हर निंदा सम अगरीसा श्री राम जय राम जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय सिया भज राम चंद्र की जय शरणम प्रभु. According to the Vedas, what is the highest religious merit? And again, what is the most terrible sin? So if we pay keen attention to this katha, we will have seen already, if we had paid keen attention so far, there is a beautiful chain of events unfolding for us there. A manner in which you and I can not only realize how blessed we are to have been given this human body, which was the first question answered, and how this human body is able to take us up and down and all of these different things it can do for us, how this human body can allow us to face great pain or great pleasure as well. But it also tells us that these are the innate dispositions of you and I. We are the saints, we are the evil-minded, we are responsible. And how? Our actions, our karma, our words, our deeds. I dare say, Panditji, not even just seeing as well. I feel I want to add to that a little bit, that our eyes are so limited in its powers of perception that we can see something and not see exactly what is happening. Many things must come into play as well. And I want to commend you for noting that to all of us, that when we hear alone and, we have just heard something, we're ready to go spread it better than CNN and BBC so that the entire world and none of us are omitted from this. What is the greatest, highest religious merit? And this is called Paramadharma Shruti Bidita Ahimsa. So if you have your pen and paper, you can write that word, Ahimsa. Right away, every time I hear that word, I remember instantly one great being, the great Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Ahimsa means non-violence. Non-violence is the act of taking on a vow that I will not get engaged in the act of violence in this world, in my life. And I remember Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, that great Mahatma, because this is what he stood for. We have to remember, the fight does not necessarily mean F-I-G-H-T. It does not necessarily mean to endorse or get involved with or in violence. The fight speaks about the fight of life. Any scripture, any injunction from the scriptures that talks about, oh man, get up and fight. Any pundit or person who tells you get up and fight, they're not telling you to go and beat up your neighbors, no, or your co-workers. Fight your battle of life. And the strongest of weapons and tools we have to fight, some of them are our voices, our pens, even our keyboards. However, the time revolves and goes on to improve our modes of communication. We're running around this forest of life trying to defeat each other and hurt each other and cause pain to each other. Ahimsa is truly the most noblest and highest religious merit any person who professes to be a follower, especially here, of Sanatan Dharma. Because note the word used here, Shruti. Shruti means the Vedic injunctions, the Vedic scriptures, that which is the base of all scriptures. Shruti. So get involved in Ahimsa, the vow of non-violence. Paraninda sam aghanagarisa. Of course, Panditji was talking about this gossiping story with one minute hole becoming half of the sleeve gone and full sleeve gone. And everybody loves, the word I like to use here is juicy. Once the story juicy, Pandit, everybody go to that dalmo and they go enjoy a piece of that news as long as it's very juicy. The truth is not very juicy, it's very bitter and very sour. So we don't like to hear that. We like to ninda. Ninda here means to speak ill and untruth about other people. Ninda simply talks about that. And of course, I remember Guruji talking about this lady who, she was so much afraid of saying anything bad about her husband to other people. She was a good wife, she didn't want anybody to think anything bad about her husband. So every time Guruji sang the Aarti, he would end up at a piece where he'd be singing to Govinda Bhagwan, and he would start smiling, and he would tell us that once he met this lady who was so afraid of making her husband look bad, to seeming as she would get involved in the act of ninda. Long ago, the ladies would not call their husbands by their name. They wouldn't, out of this fear, and I think out of respect as well. So he would sing, and the lady's husband's name was Tony. So whenever she sang the Aarti, one day he was at her house doing puja, and he's singing, Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai. But the lady is singing nicely, Govinda Jai Jai. But she not say Gopal, Tony Papa Jai Jai. Because her son's name was Tony, and she wouldn't dare call her husband name, so she would say Tony Papa. Long ago, the ladies would used to call their husbands by their children's name. Tony Papa Jai Jai. We are truly and really getting involved in some acts that can really hurt us and hurt each other as well. So indeed, the highest religious merit, according to Kagbishundi and the Vedas here, he's quoting that it is ahimsa, non-violence, and of course, the most terrible sin is to speak ill and untruth about another person. Do not get involved in such acts, dear friends. Now, here nobody, me left the last one for you. Yeah? Just one, not too much. And I would like for you to enlighten us. What are the diseases of the mind? Because I feel ultimately and really, when it comes down to all of it, every single thing of this body is controlled by the mind. And if that mind is affected by some sort of diseases, as is denoted here, it's clear that the mind is affected by diseases. It is called Manasa Roga. So what are the Manasa Roga that affects you and I, Panditji?
We have to laugh this morning. I remember that Tony Papa story. Manoj can beat. He was reading in Canada, and he gave out the copies of the Kirtan. And this lady came Friday night, she came Saturday night, and she told Guruji this Saturday night, oh Guruji, can I just chorus one song with you, please? One song. I just want the opportunity to sing with you once. So Guruji says, yeah, come morning, yeah, come back morning. So she came in the morning, and he would hand out his songs. So he started singing this Sunday morning now, and the lady get the paper, and here the auntie. Shatbar kaho re saira. Now this is Guruji singing it. Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. So now he told the girls that don't sing, let the auntie sing. So the auntie started. Shatvar kaho re Sai Ram. Twice. Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. Twice. Shatvar kaho re Sai Ram. Twice. Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. Twice. And Guruji tells us his story, and let me tell you, we laughed and we laughed and we laughed that Sunday at Mandir. Some of his classics, Guruji, you will always be remembered. Kagbushundi says, oh Guruji, you want to know the diseases of the mind? Shri Ram
काम बात कप लोभ अपारा क्रोध पीत नित जाति जारा क्रोध पीत नित जाति जारा श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम 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 श्री राम जय राम
So beautifully, Kakbashundi is going to answer the final question to Guruji. And devotees all, if we know this katha, or if we have heard of these words before, of this story, we would know that Guruji spent his entire life preaching these words to us. And he always used to go take this down, and devotees many times used to tell him, oh Guruji, you don't know nothing else. This is all you know from Ramayana. But he always used to ask us the question, have you erased them from your mind? What are these words? He says the diseases of the mind. How are we going to progress when we have these things in our mind? Moha sakala vyadinha karamula tinhate puni upajahi bahusula kam vat kapha lobha apada krodha pit nit jati jala. Tulsidas ji says, oh Guruji, if we are going to allow these vices to take control of our mind, they will deteriorate our entire being. He says, moha, kama, lobha, or a krodha. Let's see these words again. Moha, kama, lobha, krodha. 4 of them. He says, these are ignorance, lust, greed, and anger. 4 of them. Ignorance. We have forgotten who we are. We have forgotten where we have come from. We have forgotten our purpose. And we have forgotten completely where we are heading. This is the ignorance that Kakbashundi speaks of. He says lust. Man today does not love anymore, but we lust. There is no L-O-V-E anymore. Very rarely you will find that. But we L-U-S-T so much. Give up lust. He says greed. You know, you have 1 car and you have 2 cars. Next minute you have 7 cars for 7 days of the week. When would we realize enough is enough? He says, do not be greedy. You know, I always say to the devotees, you buy a scratchy. And you scratch this thing, hold it, you do Hanuman Puja, you Charhavi, you hold it underneath the thali, let the Pandita see. And you did Pandit doing the sankalp, and you holding it, you're rubbing the ticket on your hand like this. Trust me, I've done it myself. And you're rubbing it and you're praying, oh God, let me win. And the next day now you decide to scratch it. And you win $50. It's a life, you know the life? Scratchy. You win $50. And you see 2 life, but you didn't see the 3rd one. The greedy man says, oh my God, why couldn't I get this 3rd life? And you forget completely about the $50. But you only wanted this 3rd life so that you can get this $1,000 for life. Greed is a terrible thing, oh man. Guruji says, destroy it from your life. And finally, when you cannot get what you want, and when you have become so greedy and so ignorant of the fact, what happens? We become angry people. And an angry man will only cause chaos and catastrophe in the world. So he says, the diseases of the mind, ignorance, lust, greed, and anger. And there are two more which we will look at another yajna where we will meet together. Remember the Shad Vikaras of our Guruji. Devotees all, there you have the 7 answers that Kagbushundi gives to our very own Guruji. Now if you want, I'm putting it out there now, if you want more detail into this katha, because there's a lots of details that comes with this katha, you know, sponsor a 4-night yajna. And let's do something for the very first time. I don't think I've experienced it yet in my lifetime. But I would like to sit side by side with this chap. Like how we are today. Side by side. And for the very first time in my lifetime, I want to see 2 Vyasjis reading together. Not one night one Pandit, the next night the other. No. Reading together. Verse for verse, chaupai for chaupai, song for song, gyaf for gyaf. Sponsor that yajna, where it's in Essequibo, Canada, Minnesota, New York, wherever you want to take us. Let's do this and let's continue Guruji's legacy and keep the flag of Gurudev flying high and skelter, my dear brothers and sisters. There you have the 7 questions and the 7 answers given to our dear Guruji. We do hope that you have enjoyed this katha this morning, and if at all we have made any mistakes, humbly, humbly forgive us. I feel like singing, Prabhu. How you feel? Devotees all, you want to hear some songs? We're going to extend the program a little bit more. It's a Sunday morning, you're already home. You can't go anywhere. So take the computer with you, take the phone and go sit in the backyard. Take your cup of tea, your cup of coffee. And let's sing some songs together. Some of Guruji's most priceless songs that he would have shared with us. One song I want to hear this morning. I'm going to ask Panditji to sing it. And he's going to tell you we have some devotees who sponsored some songs. Not sponsored, sorry. They requested some of these songs. So we want to try and fulfill their desires this morning. And if you are requesting now, if we don't get to them, please forgive us. When the yajna happens, we'll sing all. So, Panditji, I would love to hear Kabhi Pyasi Ko Pani. Please share with us.
Thank you so much, Panditji. Let me, first of all, once again take this opportunity to thank you for making the time for you and I to sit across so many thousands of miles to join together with this wonderful family of ours. All of you, we're all family. It makes me feel one step closer to you guys. I'll give you a little secret here today. I tell you, I didn't tell anybody yet. I was going to jump in my car on Friday night and drive to New York and show up there yesterday at your home so that we could do this program together. Of course, I would have had to stay there, because Bauji Gyal would not want me to come back home after that for 14 days, you know? So you would have to host me for the quarantine time. Nevertheless, I am so happy, and let me once again welcome all our viewers. I see IVG from Canada is saying that, listen, she is going to bring the two of us to Canada. Ivy Narayan is saying she will bring us to Canada to do the 4-session yajna side by side. So we have an offer here of love and humility by a devotee of the Lord, Ivy Narayan from Canada. We'll set this up once our world is open back up to such congregations where we can join together singing the glories of the Lord. This has been a long-standing dream of myself and Pandit Manojji and people like Kevin Twixiji, who, Prabhuji, is such an honor to have you in the program today. You're such a wonderful soul. I think when I look at you seated next to your Guru, I want to commend both of you, and even Kevin behind the camera there, the man of the hour, or the past 2 hours, who has given such an awesome part of his life to making sure that this program is truly one that comes to you. Even if a lot of the problems lie on my side here today. So, Kabhi Pyase Ko Pani. This song, Guruji, made many of us realize, I'm telling you, we have come from a life where we knew our religion to the best of our abilities. We chanted and we sang and we prayed. But when he explained, then we knew what we were singing. And such songs remind us that simple things in our lives can bring us truly and really closer to God. Not just going to the Mandir, not just approaching the Murti, but how about God in the form of people in our own lives? Even if you have to put the phone in your pocket, put on your earphones and start clean your house, do so as we sing these few songs. This song was requested by Sharmila Prasad and family from California. Thank you so much, Sharmila ji. We say Jai Sitaram to you all. Kabhi pyase ko pani pilaya nahi, बाद अमृत पिलाने से क्या फायदा, क्या प्यासे
पानी पिलाया नहीं, बाद अमृत पिलाने से क्या फायदा,
कभी गिरते हुए को उठाया नहीं, बाद आंसू बहाने से क्या फायदा, कभी प्यासे को पानी
पिलाया नहीं, बाद अमृत पिलाने से क्या फायदा।
मैं तो मंदिर गया पूजा आरती की, पूजा करते हुए मैं तो मंदिर गया पूजा आरती की, पूजा करते हुए ख्याल आ गया, कभी माँ बाप की सेवा की नहीं, कभी माँ बाप की सेवा की नहीं, सिर्फ पूजा को करने से क्या फायदा,
कभी प्यासे को पानी पिलाया नहीं, बाद अमृत पिलाने
मैं तो सत्संग गया, गुरुवाणी सुनी, गुरुवाणी को सुनकर ख्याल आ मैं तो सत्संग गया, गुरुवाणी सुनी, गुरुवाणी को सुनकर ख्याल आ गया, जन्म मानव का लेके दया न करी, फिर मानव कहलाने से क्या फायदा,
कभी प्यासे को पानी पिलाया नहीं, बाद अमृत पिलाने से क्या फायदा। बहाने से क्या फायदा प्यासे को पानी पिलाया नहीं बाद अमृत पिलाने से क्या फायदा
बाद अमृत पिलाने
क्या फायदा बाद अमृत पिलाने से क्या फायदा
मैं तो मंदिर गया. I went to the Mandir, says the devotee. Puja aarati ki. I was doing puja, I was doing my aarti. Puja karte hue khayal aa gaya. And while performing my services in the temple to the Lord, a thought came to my mind. Kabhi maa baap ki seva की ही नहीं. Not once did I take the time to recognize the sovereignty of the mother and the father in my life. How they are God, mother and father, Bhagavan or Bhagavati. Not once did I perform any selfless services to them in their honor. Then what? सिर्फ पूजा को करने से क्या फायदा? Then just performing puja to the Lord, what benefits will that bring to me? What a powerful song. How simple, how much more simple can we get than this in the teachings of our dear Guruji, as he brought out these golden songs in his own voice, through his own mind's eyes, as he sought to bring us closer, not just to the Lord in this traditional manner, in a church or a temple or a mandir, but in a beautiful way with the people in our lives, our mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters. And you can see here, we have a surprise visit by Navita ji, all the way from Apple Valley, who was not going to come this morning, but she said a place too bright, such a dasha and shades. We would like to say Sitaram to you. These two sisters are such wonderful souls. They are my backbone and my support in satsang here, together with Michael ji. So Prabhuji, I'd like to say Jai Sitaram and Namaste to Dr. Ramesh Sugrim, who is like a father to me, who is logged on to the program this morning. And he was very, very close to Guruji as well. In fact, they studied together. Himself, his wife, and Guruji studied together in Guyana, I think medical technology, many, many years ago. So they were very close friends, and he's watching this morning. And I know we have someone requesting this next bhajan, but this bhajan holds a dear place in his heart as well. Uth Jag Musafir Bhor Bhai is the bhajan we would like to hear you sing this morning. So we turn it over to you now, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Padiji, and to all of our sisters and brothers, devotees who are listening. Thank you for being with us this morning, spending your Sunday morning with us. And we do hope and pray that we're trying to do a little justice to some of the beautiful memories of Guruji, to Dr. Sugrimji, Sitaram to you, Prabhu, and we dedicate this next bhajan to you and your family. And also this is coming special request by Dave, Sheila, Hema, and Seema Takurdin here in New York. So this bhajan is especially for you guys. And as you mentioned, Prabhu, that Auntie Ivy is going to take us to Essequibo. And I know hopefully you're going to be flying us there, Auntie Ivy. You know, when you're talking about flying us to Essequibo, taking us there, I remember a beautiful story with Guruji. Somebody just requested this story here that Guruji shared with us. You know, his personality, his charisma goes beyond. He says as he was entering the plane and he sat down, you know, in his seat, first class, this lady came and sat in the front of him, and she sat down there and everything is going in, passengers are coming in and so forth. And this one passenger came now with his ticket and he's going to sit in front of Guruji where this lady was sitting. And he says, "Excuse me, ma'am, you know, I think you're sitting in my seat." And she says, "No, I'm not sitting in your seat. This is my seat and I'm not moving from here." To make a long story short, everybody tried and tried and tried to remove this lady from there.
because she was sitting in the wrong seat. So the news got to the pilot because now the flight is delayed. The pilot came out, went, and he asked what was the problem. They explained to him. So he goes very easily to the lady and he whispers to Navita and he says, "My dear, you know," and he says something, and Navita gets up with one speed and she runs to the back of the plane. And Guruji says, you know, me or man, me always like know what's going on. And I really, I was bothered, I was puzzled. What happened? Why everybody failed and this man came and the lady got up? So when the plane reached New York, you know, the pilot comes out and he greets everybody, have a good day, whatever. So he says, "Tell me, I want to know, everybody tried to move this lady from there and Navita ji would not move. That was her seat. What did you tell her?" So the pilot says, "All I whispered, I said, Navita ji, this flight, this part of the plane is not going to New York." Hare Baap, Hare Baap. उठ जाग मुसाफिर भोर भई, अब रैन कहाँ जो सोवत है जो जागत है पावत है, जो सोवत है सो होवत है, उठ जाग मुसाफिर भोर भई। नींद से आंखें खोल जरा और अपने ईश से ध्यान लगा। नींद से आंखें खोल जरा और अपना ईश से ध्यान लगा। प्रीति करम की रीति नहीं, प्रभु जागत है जो सोवत है, सोवत है, उठ जाग मुसाफिर भोर भई, अब रैन कहाँ जो सोवत है। Guruji says, "Oh man, wake up, get up. Do not sleep away life anymore. You have wasted too much valuable time in your life. Wake up and begin to do what is good, what is positive, and make a change. And do what you have to do. Do it now." जो कल करना है आज कर ले, जो आज करना है अब कर ले, जो कल करना है आज कर ले, जो आज करना है अब कर ले, जो आज करना है अब कर ले। जीवन में सचेत लिया फिर पछताए क्या रोवत है, उठ जाग मुसाफिर भोर भई, अब रैन कहाँ जो सोवत है, जो जागत है जो पावत है, जो सोवत है सो होवत है। जाग मुसाफिर भोर भई, उठ जाग मुसाफिर भोर भई, उठ जाग मुसाफिर भोर भई। Sorry for a moment there, I got a little emotional. You know, Ravindra ji has never seen me cry. And every time I go to cry, I bend my head down. And I do like I'm thinking about something, so I don't show my emotions often. So I got a little emotional there. जो कल करना है आज कर ले, जो आज करना है अब कर ले. He says, do not wait for tomorrow, do not waste time anymore. But get up, O man, and do what you have to do. Ab Kadali. Do it now, do it now, do it now. To all of you watching once again, thank you, Sitaram. And I do hope and pray that our morning satsang would have reminded us how much truly we have missed our dear Guruji. Tera naam pyara. Those of you know that song, I would like to ask Padiji, kindly share that beautiful song with us.
Wow, beautifully done. Pixie, bye-bye. You are well on your way, sir, to becoming one of the greatest names in Sanatan Dharma as a propagator of Sanatan Dharma. I'd like to join Mataji Urmila Vibert, expressing those same views as well. Shabas, Pixie. Master job. You and your Guruji are truly leading us to a place of great emotion today. As you were singing there, I muted my side of the stall, and these ladies were singing along with you, together with myself. But hearing them sing right next to me and listening to you guys over there, I myself got so emotional. I can't wait for the day when we can all come together again and hug each other and sing with each other and play with each other. Tera Naam is not one that is well known. I have found in the US. I haven't found many devotees in the US who know this bhajan really well or have heard it before even. I'd like to say Sitaram to Srimati Sherry Jandu and all the other devotees who are logging on today. Those especially from Guyana. Those devotees from Guyana. When Guruji brought this bhajan to us, the bhajan originally has the words of a great soul. And he never wanted to change them. Some people ridiculed him, a lot of people enjoy. Ishwar Allah, tu kartara. Many people went to him in the daytime, Prabhu. We were sitting together, chatting away. Panditji, why don't you change the word Allah to Brahma or something? Sometimes he was in the mood, he sang it like that. But he told them, I was witness to this, if you can show me the difference between Allah and Brahma, then I will think about changing the words. Master, in his greatest moments, Tera naam, Tera naam, Tera naam, Tera naam pyara, Ishwar Allah tu karta.
Tera naam, Tera naam, Tera naam pyara, Ishwar Allah tu karta.
Satnam, Satnam, Satnam pyara.
Satnam, Satnam, Satnam pyara.
Ram Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram pyara. Tera naam,
Tera naam, Tera naam, Tera naam pyara, Ishwar Allah tu karta.
तेरी खोज में हे गिरधारी,
तेरी खोज में हे गिरधारी,
आ पहुँचे अब तेरी पुजारी,
आ पहुँचे अब तेरी पुजारी,
आ गई आज हमारी बारी,
आ गई आज हमारी बारी,
इच्छा पूर्ण होगी सारी,
इच्छा पूर्ण होगी सारी,
दीन दुखी की आँख का तारा,
दीन दुखी की आँख का तारा,
अपना नहीं कोई सहारा,
तेरा नाम तेरा नाम तेरा नाम प्यारा, ईश्वर अल्लाह तू करता।
तेरा नाम तेरा नाम
प्यारा, ईश्वर अल्लाह तू करता।
ओ सतनाम 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 प्यारा,
सतनाम 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 प्यारा,
राम नाम हर राम 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 प्यारा, तेरा नाम
तेरा नाम प्यारा, ईश्वर अल्लाह तू करता।
ईश्वर अल्लाह
करता, ईश्वर अल्लाह तू करता।
Now, one of my most favorite of Guruji's bhajans, and one that truly brings me to tears. So that's why I think today it's good that I'm not singing it. O Sham, Pran Pyare. Panditji.
Prabhu, and indeed, what you have mentioned here, you don't quite hear that song in New York. I don't think I've ever heard anybody sing it in New York here. And so, as you were talking about him singing it back in the days of Guyana, I remember one time he sang it in Florida. And the same thing the Panditji told him, I remember that conversation, that why don't you change it to Ishwar now? You were singing Allah in name in Mandir Bode. And Guruji says they're all the same. And in the Mandir here also, we have our Muslim sisters and brothers with us. So it is good to recognize everyone in our culture, in our religion, more so recognize them in the world. Devotees all, this morning I want to dedicate this song. This is a request of my dad, and he wanted me to read this really quickly. He said, 11 years ago I lost a true and dear friend, but his voice and presentations still lingers in my ear. To protect, preserve, and live his legacy, let's focus on thoughts and options on his vision of the new, modified, and simple practice and belief of our culture and religion. You're with us, not amongst us. You will always be remembered and loved. And he ends by saying, man gives information, God gives inspiration. This is coming from Aja. And special birthday greetings to Golinji and Kavita Ramphal, to Mala and Neelaji. This song also goes out to you all. Happy birthday, everyone. O Sham Pran Pyari, O Sham Pran Pyari, Mukhra Zara When I say close, I mean that we knew Guruji. You just didn't hear him preach, you didn't hear his CDs, but you knew him. You spent time with him, you listened to him, you had your conversations with him. He would yell at you. Let me tell you, if you wanted to cry, let Guruji yell at you. And he yelled at many of us. And I, being one of them, let me tell you, at 11 years old, I took him as my guru because I was inspired by him. 11 years old. And there were many times when he yelled at me and I told him, you know what? Don't talk to me that way. I used to tell him, don't talk to me that way. Today, let me tell you, I wish I could have that man back in my life to yell at me. I miss him so much. And he touched me, he touched my soul, and I'm forever grateful. Oh Sham, I pray that that day when he would have exited from this world, he also would have called Sham's name. I thank you, Guruji. On behalf of myself, my family, we thank you because what you did for us as a family, we will always be in debt and grateful to you. And I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. I wish I could hear your voice one more time, live. And I wonder what you would tell us. And I know, Deeps, this is a song that you love dearly. If Guruji was to speak to us again one more time, what would he tell us on such a beautiful Sunday morning, devotees? Enjoy this morning with us. Enjoy this morning with our Guruji.
Whenever others felt as emotional as we do today, there was only one person who brought comfort to them. Of course, whenever we traveled with him, we saw how Guruji's words touched everyone. And if Guruji were to say something, he was to say something to us today, this bhajan perfectly describes his words, as he would have done so many times for others, to tell them that those who have passed on, मैं तो प्रभु की शरणिया जाता हूँ दुनिया छोड़ के. For life, this man prayed to his Prabhu. He adored the feet of his Prabhu. He took all of us on a journey to the feet of our Prabhu. And now he is reassuring us, don't worry about me. I have gone to the shelter, the very feet of that Prabhu to whom I sang throughout my life. मैं तो प्रभु की शरणिया जाता हूँ दुनिया छोड़ के. मैं तो मैं तो प्रभु की शरणिया जाता हूँ दुनिया छोड़ के.
मैं दुनिया छोड़ के.
आना जाना रीत जगत की, फिर कैसा घबराना, ओह फिर कैसा घबराना. आना जाना रीत जगत की, फिर कैसा घबराना,
ओ फिर कैसा घबराना.
2 दिन का तेरा रैन बसेरा, हंस अकेला जाता,
ओ हंस अकेला जाता.
चले 4 पहरवा, मुखवा से राम नाम बोल के.
चले 4 पहरवा, मुखवा से राम नाम बोल के.
मैं तो
प्रभु की शरणिया जाता हूँ दुनिया छोड़ के.
मैं तो
प्रभु की शरणिया जाता हूँ दुनिया छोड़ के.
जाता हूँ दुनिया
जाता हूँ दुनिया छोड़ के.
प्रेम स्वरूप श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय. In order for us to continue this path that he has laid out, his legacy, Guruji left one important ingredient on the topmost of every list that he provided to all of us. He may not have given us a written list, he may not have typed it or emailed it to us, but he lived that list. What are the qualities one needs to possess in order to successfully traverse this life, and especially to reach others like the way he did? I don't think any of us could, but one main ingredient was at the top of that list, and that ingredient is called prem, love. Panditji?
Kev was just telling me that some devotees are also commenting that they're trying to hold back their tears as well. You know, when you've been touched by a great soul as Guruji, every day feels as though you wish you would get an opportunity to be with him once more. When he would walk in the Mandir, you know, when he would walk in the Mandir, and he would go and he would walk, you would feel that energy coming into the Mandir. And you see when he goes and he takes his seat at the asana and you just look at him, captivated. I know I was, and I know many of us, if not thousands, captivated by this man. And I'll share this with you. You know that Guruji reached a point in his career where people didn't even care if he sung. They didn't care if he read Ramayana or anything anymore. They just wanted to see him, a vision. Such was the great Mahatma. Anup Jalota sung this song, but when Guruji sung it back, that's when everybody realized how sweet this song was. Prem ki agan ho, bhakti sagan ho, man mein lagan ho to. His words, Prabhu mil jayenge, Prabhu mil jayenge. We will meet with him, but we have to have love, and there must be devotion in our hearts. Prema ki agan ho, bhakti sagan ho, man mein lagan ho to Prabhu mil jayenge, Prabhu mil jayenge, Prabhu mil jayenge, Prabhu mil jayenge. Prema ki agan ho, bhakti sagan ho, man mein lagan ho to Prabhu mil jayenge, Prabhu mil jayenge, oh Prabhu mil jayenge, mil jayenge. that divine energy, devotees. Prem, bhakti, anything is possible. Devotees, we are winding down our program, but definitely we're going to be getting to all the songs requested this morning. There's one that I love dearly. Guruji used to sing it, and of course, when he started to sing it, everybody went mad for this song. Oh God, Guruji, give us the copy, give us the copy. And he gave everybody the copy in Hindi. He said, "Here, you must sing. You don't know what you're reading, what you must sing." That song was Mere Man Vira Ki Tari. Beautiful song that talks about the glories of our Lord again. I'll ask our dear Paniji, and someone special requested this. I'll hand over to Paniji.
Wow, kya baat. I think you did more than justice to that bhajan, Prabhu. Giving us such love rekindled in the heart. I'd like to say Jai Sitaram to a very special person. Nima Jadubans, Aji and Aja Jadubans, Dharampatni Jadubans or Bhauji, also known as Ravina ji, and three wonderful little ones at home there. I also want to say a special Sitaram to Siddiqa Bacchus, at whose home we spent a while with Guruji, cooking and eating and singing and chanting from Hampton Court in Essequibo, in Guyana. Sitaram to Panita ji. Sitaram to Srimati Maruti Dhanraj from Florida, who has requested Mere Man Vira Ki Tari. To Lord Shiva, we sing. Guruji enjoyed singing to Bhagwan Shankar. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Karpura Gauram Karunavataram Sansara Saram Bhujagendraharam Sada Vasantam Hirdayarvinde Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. मेरे मन वीरा की तारे हर पल शिव का नाम पुकारे मैंने शिव से लगाई लगन
मेरे मन वीरा की तारे हर पल शिव का नाम पुकारे मैंने शिव से लगाई लगन
ओ लगन
शिव से लगाई लगन
जब बोलेगा नाम प्रेम से सुबह शाम
जब बोलेगा नाम प्रेम से सुबह
शिव की भक्ति में हो के मगन,
मेरी मंदिरा की तारे
हो
मैंने शिव से लगाई लगन,
लगन,
मैंने शिव से लगाई लगन,
ओ लगन।
मैंने शिव से लगाई लगन।
तोरे जग के झूठे बंधन, शिव भक्ति में धर के जीवन, शिव भक्ति मन में शिव है मैवन, दर दिया खुद को शिव की अर्पण, कर
दिया खुद को शिव के
शिव ही मेरा धर्म, शिव ही मेरा करम,
शिव ही मेरा धर्म, शिव ही मेरा करम,
साथी है ये धरती गगन,
मेरे मंदिरा की तारे मन शिव का नाम पुकारे, मैंने शिव से लगाई लगन,
ओ लगन, मैंने
शिव से लगाई लगन।
जब बोलेगा नाम प्रेम से सुबह शाम,
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 शिव की भक्ति में हो के मगन, मेरे मंदिरा की
तारे मन शिव का नाम पुकारे,
मैंने शिव से लगाई लगन, ओ लगन, मैंने शिव से लगाई लगन, हाँ लगन, मैंने शिव से लगाई लगन। नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव। मापति महादेव की जय। I think one of all of our favorite Hanumanji bhajan, Cheer Ki Chhati. I'll let Pandit ji take over from there.
Indeed, open your heart, devotees, and let the world see your true colors. The divinity within you, allow that to flow and let that describe who you are to the world. Let people feel and experience the Ram, Sita and Lakshmana that's seated in your heart. This is coming specially this morning from our dear Maruti Dhanraj, Mataji from Florida. Jai Sita Rama. We hope that this bhajan will give you the energy. Also, the brother of Pandit Dipak ji is requesting this song. Rajendra Rambharose from Crabwood Creek. Bhaiya, I've never met you, but if you're as handsome as your brother, then I feel as though we have met. Let's all sing together. I know this is my mother-in-law's favorite song. I know she's gonna get up and dance. Shree Prakash Putra Hanuman. May God rest the soul of Ananya girl also. May that soul rest in peace, Prabhu. Bolo Pavan Putra Hanuman. मेरे मन में बसे है राम, मेरे तन में बसे है राम, मन में बसे है राम, ओ मेरे तन में बसे है राम। चीर की छाती
मेरे मन में बसे हैं राम, मेरे तन में बसे प्रभु संदेश सुनाए, हनुमान जी सीता जी को प्रभु संदेश सुनाए। हनुमान जी करते आए, हनुमान जी करते आए प्रभु जी के गुणगान। शक्ति देख प्रभु घबराए, लगी लक्ष्मण जी को शक्ति देख प्रभु घबराए। भोर से पहले हनुमान जी धौलागिर ले आए, भोर से पहले हनुमान जी धौलागिर ले लक्ष्मण जी लेकर, बैठे लक्ष्मण जी लेकर श्री राम, श्री राम, श्री बसे है राम, मेरे तन में बसे है राम। Wow. We have two more songs this morning, devotees, to share with you, and we want to complete these two songs before we hand over back to our closing prayers and announcements, Aarti. This morning it's such an honor once again to be here and celebrate this day with Panideeps and Naviji, Nali, our dear Michael there in the background. Michael, again, you're doing so well, oh my God. And Naviji also works for the medical industry, the healthcare system. And I hope you're not on break or lunch and you get your patient and wait for you for medication. So thank you for being with us this morning as well. Back over now to Panideeps. There's a special song that he requested this morning, and I wonder why this song was requested. So Paniji, why the Ganga mi nahi, Jamuna mi nahi?
Thank you so much, Pandit Manoj ji, and you're wonderful, wonderful musicians and singers. Kev, again, beautiful job. If you looked up at the camera, you probably would have seen me dancing and whining over here, man. You guys did an awesome, awesome job. And when you said everybody, Navi went, all four of you, clap and sing. All four of you. Everybody's just four of us here right now. My Dharapatni is sitting on the other side with the kids also. They're there. Thank you guys so much. It's such a pleasure, such an honor to join you guys in Satsang. I think this breaks new ground for all the possibilities that we can have in reaching out to each other. No longer do I have to complain, man. Manoj make me wake up 7 o'clock in the morning for reach a Shaanti Bhavan, 8 o'clock in the morning for sing and make a song good to know. I can sit up in my bed and turn on my phone and listen to God's services and katha being chanted in his bhajans. So we should all be thankful that these different avenues are available to us and the people who are there bring us these messages. And this is why this last song of mine is very special. In fact, this song is an original song done by the great Mohammed Rafi. As you all know, he is my absolute favorite singer from every time. But the person I heard this song first from was no other than Guruji Shree Prakash Gossai. And I never knew it was a Rafi bhajan until about a year ago, Prabhu. This bhajan reassures us. And I think if one was to rewrite this bhajan now, they would add something like Facebook mein nahi, YouTube mein nahi. Where is God? How can you find God? Look, He is available to us in our homes right now. But Manoj ji has said it so many times. We have brought God to your homes without you having to leave home. Yet many of us still cannot find Him. When we'll go far away, where will we find Him? When we are here right now in our homes, how can we find Him? Where is God? Ganga mein nahi, Jamuna mein nahi, महलों में नहीं, कुतियों में नहीं, नहीं. He's not in the Ganges. He's not in the Jamuna. The rich man cannot find him in his palaces. The poor man cannot find him in his hut. Then where can we find God? Jaha याद करो भगवान वही जहाँ
याद करो भगवान वही
महलों में नहीं कुतियों में नहीं जहाँ
याद करो भगवान वही
जहाँ
याद करो भगवान वही.
You can be anywhere in this world, but if you're not thinking of God, how can you find Him there? क्यों नाम न लेकर धन जोरे कोड़ी के लिए नाता तोरे
क्यों नाम न लेकर धन जोरे कोड़ी के लिए नाता तोरे.
सोने में नहीं चांदी में नहीं
सोने में नहीं चांदी में नहीं
हीरे में नहीं मोती में नहीं
जहाँ याद करो भगवान वही जहाँ याद करो भगवान वही.
गंगा में नहीं जमुना में नहीं महलों
में नहीं कुछ
जहाँ
याद करो भगवान
जहाँ
याद करो भगवान वही
छुप के फेरो मन की माला छुप के देखे मुरली वाला
चुपके तेरा मन की माला चुपके देखे मुरली वाला
मुरली वाला मुरली 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 छुपके फेरो मन की माला छुपके देखे वाला जंतर में नहीं मंतर में नहीं
जंतर में नहीं मंतर में नहीं
धरती में नहीं सागर में नहीं
जहाँ याद करो भगवान वही जहाँ याद करो भगवान वही
महलों में नहीं कुटियों में नहीं
जहाँ याद करो भगवान वही जहाँ याद करो भगवान वही
ओ जहाँ याद करो भगवान वही प्रेम सोलो श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय Thank you so much again for allowing us to enter into your personal space on this beautiful Sunday morning, in these moments of prayers and bhajans in memory of that great soul. Of course, I'd like to take this opportunity to say Jai Sitaram and thank you to the entire Gossai family. Thank you so much for lending to this world, Guruji, at a time when you needed to. And Sitaram also to my brother, Panit Umesh Khemraj ji. Tomorrow will have made 11 years for the passing of our dear Guruji, and we are now winding down. I will turn it over back to Pandit Manoj and his wonderful Samaj.
Thank you so much once again, Pandit Dipak ji, and to Navi, Nali, and Michael dear. Thank you for being with us this morning, celebrating this great, special, very emotional day, very loving, peaceful day. And we do hope and pray that this last rendition will remind each and every one of us of one of the messages of Guruji. So many he had, but one he reminded us that we are all here for one purpose and we must help each other towards the cause. And he says, whenever you feel that someone is falling behind you, never give up on that person. Reach back, stretch your arms, and let that person feel secure and reassured that I am not here alone. This last song this morning, I want to dedicate to each and every one of you. All who have followed Guruji over the years, who continue to still, and who will continue to for lifetimes to come. Mataji Dar, I know you requested a special song this morning through the compliments of your daughter-in-law, Mandy. And you know, I have to share this secret here. Mandy texts and she says, Pareji, please sing this special song because Mom does get up every morning and be with Guruji. And I had to sit back and think, what is girl saying? This lady does be with Guruji. And then I realized, she said that, and I asked her, I said, girl, you sure you're right, we're right here? She said, no, no, no. She just plays CD and a beat. And I know you requested a special song, but we want to change it up a little. Dost Naraha. Friendship is something very unique. And we all came into Guruji's companionship through friendship. And he reminded us always, Meri dosti mera pyar, Meri dosti mera pyar. Let's walk together. Let's cry together, let's laugh together, let's celebrate life together. Because friendship is a unique thing. Today, tomorrow is not promised. Enjoy. Auntie Dar, God bless you. Uncle Mangi, God bless you. All the families, friends, supporters, everyone, may God bless you. But more so, Mere Dosti, Mera Pyar. Panideeps, may our friendship continue to flourish. Koi jab raah na paaye, mere sang aaye, ke pag pag deep jalaye. Mere dosti mera pyar, mere dosti mera pyar. Oh, koi jab raah na paaye, mere sang aaye, ke pag pag deep jalaye. जीवन का यही है दस्तूर, प्यार बिना अकेला मजबूर, दोस्ती को माने तो सब दुख दूर, दोस्ती को माने तो सब दुख दूर। कोई काहे तो कर पाए मेरे संग आए, पग पग दीप जलाए। मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार, मेरा प्यार। कोई जब राह न पाए मेरे संग आए, कि पग पग दीप जलाए। मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार, मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार, मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार, मेरी दोस्ती मेरा प्यार। Thank you so much, devotees, once again, thank you, thank you, thank you for being with us this morning and dedicated your Sunday morning to be with us here. It's now 12:13. We have taken some extra time from you, but you know what? If we cannot spend more time for a man like Guruji, then I don't know who we will spend the time with. He did so much for us, and the least we can do is dedicate 3 hours and 13 minutes to such a great Mahatma. Panideeps, Naveen Ali, Michael, it's been an honor this morning to be with you guys here for the very first time. And if you guys enjoy this morning, then Panideeps will let you know the last announcement. It's a bit of a surprise, but let me let everybody know before we conclude this morning. Firstly, Tuesday evening. They don't know this yet, but I hope they're still logged on. So Rita Ji and the Kirtan Mandali will be coming live again with our Hanuman Chalisa. Pandit Jai from South Florida was supposed to do it, but because of other commitments, he cannot. I spoke to Shani Ji, they cannot as well. So our dear Rita Ji, reads, please make sure Tuesday night Chalisa, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. On Wednesday evening, please note that our dear Pandit Dipak Ji will be continuing the Sundarkand, beautiful katha of our dear Prabhu Shri Ram Hanuman Ji. So please log in Wednesday evening, 7:30 p.m. once again for Sundarkand Ramayana katha. To all of our birthday celebrants today, to our dear Uncle Golan Ji, Kavita Ramphal, Mala, Neela, happy birthday to you guys. May God bless each and every one of you. May all those who are sick, may God bless each of them with strength, health, good health, guidance. Those who have passed on, may their souls be liberated. May their souls find a resting place, even if they came back on earth or will come back. May they find a beautiful body to continue their journey of life. And those who have joined us this morning, all the chelas, supporters, family, friends, devotees, thank you, thank you, thank you for being with us on such a beautiful Sunday morning. In our last announcement, I'd like to ask Pandit Deeps to lead us in that, and then we'll join in closing prayers.
Thank you so much for your time and your effort, Pandit Manoj Ji, the two Kevins and the one Kiran, Kevin P, Kevin B, and Kiran J. God bless all of you. Kiran is really improving in the dholak as well. We're very proud of him. Of course, we are so proud of Kevin P for taking the time. He's a very busy man, and he has put all his love and everything into making this program so successfully transmitted to all of your homes and all of our homes as well. And we'd like to say thank you for that. I hope that on Wednesday, I'm aiming for this, to finish the Sundarkand on Wednesday. So it'll be the conclusion of Sundarkand on Wednesday. Please do share and log on. Panditji, of course, there are no words to describe my admiration for you and how far you have taken this world, this new age, closer to the feet of God. We from Minnesota would like to send to you our love and our affection. We want you to know, in fact, on behalf of all the devotees here, that they miss you. They miss you, Trixie. Don't get away from it. And they miss all of you guys, Ravina ji and all of you coming here and joining us in satsang. Although I am here, they're constantly asking me to set up a service with Panditji, and we've tried. The rains and the storms stop you from coming here. Now Corona is disturbing my birthday from happening next month, which was supposed to be happening here. So all kinds of things happening, but nevertheless, the bond will only grow stronger. And we are so blessed to be a part of your company. Next Sunday, we celebrate Father's Day. And that will also be a very special program on behalf of myself and Pandit Manoj Ji and both of our families, all of us. We invite you to come again next Sunday. We will join from this time 1 hour, a little bit later. We will not go as long as today. Today is an extra special program, but 9 o'clock Central, which will be 10 o'clock for all of the New Yorkers, of course, and 7 o'clock Pacific time. Today was a little bit difficult for me to get up a little early. Yeah, I'll tell you one time. So thank you so much again, but we'll have a special program, myself and Pandit Manoj Ji, and all of these. I hope the musicians can come back. I'm not sure, but I hope so. It's a special day. It's Father's Day program. So we probably won't be able to get all the musicians, but him and I will be there for sure to lead you in a special satsang with a few olden songs. We'll try to sing some olden songs. And that program will be sponsored by Bahenji Sharmila and her entire family, Ron and Ray, and of course, Sam. Please do join in and enjoy that program. Now let me invite each and every one of you to join with us in the closing prayers. I'll ask my brother Trixie to take up his harmonium as well. Play your harmonium, but just keep it on a scale, harmonizing probably, so that we don't recognize the lag between the two videos. I will first chant some prayers at the feet of the Lord for all of you, in honor of all of you. As you can hear, the neighborhood is waking up now. People start cut them grass, so good thing is coming to an end. And then Panditji will lead us all in the final part. Thank you so much to all of you. God bless all of you. May that great master, wherever he is, Guruji Shree Prakash Gossai, we used to call him Master, M-A-S-T-A, because we were the servants and still are, and he is the master. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo, Maheshwara. Oh Gurudev, you represent Trinity power of the Supreme Lord, because you have created within me the ability to recognize my purpose in this world. You represent the ability, and you have nurtured that power to preserve such thoughts and knowledge. Indeed, you have enlightened us to know that all things must come to an end one day. Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Om Ramaya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya
Sitaya Patani Namah
Mayatitam
Mayatitam
Madhavamadhyam
Madhamadhyam
Jagadadim
Jagadadim
Vande Ram
Mandiram
Marakatabaranam
Marakatavaranam
Mathuresham
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 Om Ekam Nityam Vimalachalam Sarvadakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadguru Tvam Namami. Thank you, Lord, for blessing us with such a great soul and all beautiful memories which we still cherish, may those memories continue to linger on in our lives forever. Bandav Guru Pad Padma Paraga Suruchi Subhas Saras Anuraga Ami Muni Me Churan Charu Samana Sakal Bhavaruja Parivaru Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shanti, 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 Hari Om. Prem se bolo Shri Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai. Prem se bolo Shri Guru Maharaj ki jai. Shri Satya Sanatan Dharma ki jai. Jai Sita Ram. Devotees all, thank you. Please continue to be safe. Please continue to maintain social distancing and so forth. And let's continue to follow the rules and regulations, the laws of the land. And let's abide by these laws. They are there to protect us, protect those around us and our families. God bless you until we meet again. May the beautiful blessings of Bhavan of Guruji always be with each and every one of us. Boliye. Prem se bolo Shri Guru Bhagavan ki jai. Thank you once again to our Minnesota family. We love you guys dearly. And
We love
see
you too.
guys in the near future. Jai Ho.
Sitaram, everybody.